What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with Brave Williams. Now, how I came into the knowledge of Brave, I kind of saw her information, and the sister is willing to come on and speak with us today about, a few things she has going on and find out about her story. So, Brave, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, Brave, automatically I got to find out, what inspired you to be named Brave? Because I don't hear too many people being called brave, especially in a world we have a lot of cowardice. So please explain to me where that name comes from.
Well, I started as a spoken word artist and rapping and writing. And so at a very young age, I noticed I took to a lot of social issues and put that into my poetry, into my art. So probably about 10, 11, 12 years old, I was going to open mics and speaking about things that I honestly probably had no business talking about, but because of those subject matters, it was the people in the audience that started calling me Brave, and the name just stuck, so I just went with it.
So what was the subject matter that you should not have been discussing at all?
I was just talking about, I'm from West Baltimore. I was born and raised in West Baltimore, and I was really kind of just talking about a lot of things that I had seen, just being in school, walking to school, getting jumped to and from school, it was just a lot of, I think that was just the best way for me to learn how to express myself between the bullying or why people treated my sister and myself the way that they did growing up. So for me, poetry and rapping was kind of a major outlet.
Okay, so you mentioned that you and your sister was jumped and you guys were bullied. What do you think was the source of this bullying?
Just looking different, being the only light skin. I'm Czechoslovakian. My mother's Czechoslovakian. My father's Black and Cherokee. So probably just really being the only white looking girls that were in the closest proximity of, I don't know how many feet in Baltimore. So, we stood out, and that definitely played a part in a lot of the things that we experienced and heard.
But, the thing is, the way my grandmother kind of raised me, and she said, due to, our history here in America, there are people that look like you all the way up to darker than me. Yeah. And she would say, how you tell your own people? And I'll say, well, Grandma, how do I tell? She said, listen to the inflection in your voice. So when you started talking, I didn't have to look at you. I hear the Black woman in your voice. I just thought maybe you could have just been a light-skinned person in Louisiana. I didn't, never knew, anything. I got people in my family with 2 Black parents that are the same color as you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, and as an adult, we can recognize that. But a lot of times growing up, kids can be cruel. They don't, a lot of times we don't have the wherewithal to be able to process, we're similar. Or, it forced me to grow up and learn that we're actually a lot more connected than what we think we are. It's just a lot of times we don't take the time to really try to surface or search to find that commonality between people. We like to assume or just kind of judge. But yeah, it definitely played a significant part in growing up. But now as an adult and being able to really, allow it to inspire my work as an artist, I wouldn't have had it any other way. It definitely taught me some valuable lessons in life.
Yeah, usually our life experiences, it should be the greatest teacher. Of anything that we can use in our adulthood. Even, for me in the reverse, I would say as a dark-skinned Black male and everything that come along with that, I had issues growing up with my color as well. Some people think, why would, you have it? But, sometimes being dark-skinned and then looked at a certain way, it definitely has an issue. So it's just an issue that you deal with more so in America, because for me, when you get to the continent of Africa, nobody even care about that crap.
Yeah.
It's more so an American thing. So when did you actually get started? You mentioned your spoken word poetry, but when did you actually start to get involved in music?
For me, that was the beginning. Tupac is when I learned and heard Tupac on the radio, and I just loved how he told his story so melodically, and it was a full beginning, middle, and end. And that's really what kind of started my journey in writing. And then a few years after, I stumbled upon that I could sing. I had no idea that I could sing. That was never what I was showcasing to people. It was always poetry. Once I learned I could sing, I knew I needed to put myself in an arena around singers. And that's when I came up with the idea of a girl group named Rich Girl. And we signed a deal with Jive, and we toured with Beyonce, opening up her North American leg, and did some amazing things. But for me, that was a season to kind of grow as an artist and to really develop my voice as an artist.
Okay, now you mentioned Tupac. Now you mentioned my language here. You also mentioned Houston native Beyonce as well. But what's the first Tupac song you ever heard of Tupac?
Keep Your Head Up.
Keep Your Head Up.
Head Up.
Okay.
That was it. That was the first one.
Okay, so he became solo. So, so for me, it was when he had featured on that same song with Digital Underground. That's the first time I saw Tupac. I said, wait a minute, who is that? And I saw Tupac. I said, I don't know who that dude is. I said, but that dude cold. And then, of course, we know Tupac's history.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he inspired me. That's one person I wish was still around so that I could, do something with and work with and meet. I still, I'm a very big fan.
Yeah, now you mentioned Beyonce and everything, and you opened up for them. Was it when Beyonce went solo, or when Beyonce was still with Destiny's Child?
No, she was solo. Her Sasha Fierce tour. It was my group, a Rich Girl, opening up for her North American leg. So she was solo at that point.
Okay, so how many cities did you guys travel with Beyonce?
I want to say it was like 32, maybe 30. It was a lot. Okay,
so now that you still singing and things like that, I mean, do you guys still kind of have, or at least you, maybe not, your other partner, do you guys still have a working relationship with Beyonce?
No, I mean, but from that experience, shortly thereafter is when we went solo, and I started my own label, Brave New World, and kind of really just took the seriousness of music in my career to a whole nother level. So that tour definitely built me up a lot as an artist in terms of just the confidence of what it is to go and perform at Madison Square Garden in front of that many people and to do a show, like that continuously every night. So now being solo, it definitely helped, I guess, prepare me even for this journey as a solo artist.
But also, as I'm looking into your information, not only you have, done spoken word, you definitely had, different issues growing up, you travel with Beyonce, but also you all sister that's giving back to the community as well. Could you share about, your giving back to the community? Because sometimes, we get a certain amount of success, and, you've definitely had that, because not too many people can even say they even met Beyonce, more so than actually open up for her.
Yeah.
So, share with people about that, because you do have a love for the community.
Absolutely. So I'm very big on fitness, and I actually went back to school a few years ago to become certified and a licensed trainer in sports and science, just so that I could just use my love of fitness to really be able to give back and do boot camps for kids. And I just think it's so important. Like I said, growing up, kids, we're so impressionable. And a lot of times we have so much energy that we really don't know how to channel it into something positive. For me, physical fitness does that. So when I'm able to go back into the inner city and take 100 kids or 50 kids or 25, whatever the number is, and be able to, force them to utilize that energy in something positive, whether it's getting stronger or leadership skills, it's probably one of the most rewarding things that I do. And I love it. I always look forward to doing it.
Yeah, one thing, that's really changed my life, and, shout out to this brother, Nathaniel Jordan, is that we in America, talking about fitness wise, and this, we don't really take care of ourselves as we should. We eat, the most horrible foods, including myself. I got it in my head, as my little girl gave me a swift kick in the butt, because kids can do that. And I dropped 57 pounds because of, just that inspiration and working hard with that. But why do you think a lot of times in the Black community, we don't focus on, eating right or, being physically fit more so maybe than some other communities?
I think a lot of it, there's so many different factors. Some of it is the lack of knowledge, just not really having a very real understanding of how healthy, I don't want to use the word healthy, but just good food, whole foods, the micronutrients from vegetables, how those things actually do impact not just you physically, but mentally. A lot of it, from what I saw, what really inspired my journey to get into fitness on a professional level was when I was touring for my last project, Fearless. And every conversation that I would have with different women that I would just meet out on the road, I met a lot of depressed people. And a lot of times, and we'll think that our depression is being caused from an outside circumstance. I met a lot of women that didn't like their job, or they didn't like their partner, or, they found a lot of outside reasons for why they were feeling sad or just mad or not excited about life. But for me, a lot of that can be eliminated when you just put a little bit more time into self-love, into taking care of you, and working out, eating healthy. Those to me are just simple, I don't want to say cures, but just simple things that a person can do to literally feel better. Certain chemical things happen in the body when you're exerting energy. Hormones are released that aren't released when you're just sitting still. So if you don't know that, then it's like you'll never put yourself in the running to be able to experience those types of feelings. It's almost like a runner's high when you hear people and they go on marathons and then afterwards they feel like they can tackle the world. It's a type of accomplishment. So for me, it was just about trying to introduce that to people. And this journey for the last 3 years of being able to transform not just a woman's body, but to see their confidence, it's exhilarating. One of my clients, she was morbidly obese. She came to me at about 360 pounds. And I mean, through hard work and dedication, I was able to get her down, minus 200 pounds. And we're still going through the journey. But that type of progression is just, it's so rewarding. It's very rewarding. And hopefully I'll be doing it forever. That's something I'll always be doing.
Yeah, and that is very important, because I can even relate to something in what you were saying. Before, I'm gonna say in December of this year, I had got up to 311 pounds myself. And did I like what I saw in the mirror? No. But once I got it in my head, a lot of times you got to get it in your head to say, okay, I want to make a change.
It's all mental.
I'm tired of it, because I've had people give me great information. You have access to great trainers, but until you say in your mind, I want to lose this weight. And I can tell you from December to now, which is, definitely a good amount of weight for me. You like what you look like in your suits. At least for me, I wear a lot of suits. So you like what you look like in suits, especially when you're dropping pants sizes.
Absolutely.
You feeling much better. Like you said, you feel more energetic. Yeah. And definitely, so women, it's definitely more important for them, because, definitely their looks are tied more so to their self-esteem more than us as men. And that's a great thing that you're doing to help out, because we really need more people out there to do that. And you actually went to school for it, and so you really took it seriously.
Yeah, I wanted to really understand the science behind losing weight. It's not that it's like a rocket science, but there is a science behind it depending on your body type, and everybody has different needs. So I really wanted to make sure that I was versed in just being able to just give people what they needed according to their needs, and not just kind of do it across the board one way for everybody, because we're all different. But like you said, that's a very valid point that you said in terms of the mental part of it. It's really 90% mental. I can train somebody like they're getting ready for the military. I could train an athlete like he's about to go into the Olympics. But if mentally he leaves me and goes, and I don't know, smokes or drinks or does X, Y, and Z because mentally he's not quite there, then the results aren't going to come. Once you put it in your mind and you discipline yourself enough and make those sacrifices and say, okay, you know what? I tell my clients sometimes even use themselves as a case study. Let's treat this like a case study. If you do this for 30 days, if you take away the sugar, if we modify this, if I'm wrong, then I'll let you, and I'll make a barter with them. But I know a lot of times that, well, I'll be right. And then they see the results, and then just the process gets easier because it becomes more self-motivating.
Yeah, and like for instance, myself, I'm so afraid to even touch certain things now. I mean, literally, I'm afraid of it. Like for instance, I know the fake sugars, don't touch that. Even refined sugar, That's all the options they had one time when I went to this restaurant the other day, and they gave me some. I wanted some hot tea, so I made black tea. I drank that black tea with nothing in it. I'd rather drink it plain like that than put that mess in it, because I'm so afraid of those things. It's just we are so trained in America to put the worst things in our bodies.
Yeah.
And then we also would, I don't personally like, I'm not saying your opinion on this, but I don't like the encouragement of unhealthy living, which they really push a lot. Also, I don't want to mention this artist's name because I don't want to put you in no pickle in case you have to work with her. But this particular artist, they really encourage her to do certain things that she's doing, and I don't think it's good for her health or anything else. And it's really killing us with heart disease and diabetes, high blood pressure. Yeah. And that's something I'm really concerned about. So it's good that you are actually, involved to try to help, people make those changes. So Brave, let me ask you a question. What is your next project on music you do have coming up? Because I know you have the label.
Yes. So like I mentioned, I have my own label, Brave New World, but I literally just signed a record deal with SRG and Universal. So right now I'm actually completing the album, and I just released my first single on February 14th called Options. So I'm really, really excited about that.
All right, so you can check out Options. It's on Spotify and
yes, on every musical platform: Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Play. It's everywhere. So on every streaming platform, you can find Options, and the music video is out as well on Vivo. You can just type in Brave Williams Options, and it'll pop up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go and check out the song Options. We want you to hear it for yourself. And we'll see if we can put at least a link to the, it's on YouTube, correct?
Yes.
So we'll try to put a link to the YouTube page so you can actually hear the song yourself and make your own decision. That way, and the album is dropping when?
The album is dropping early spring. So right now I'm just putting some finishing touches on it. Okay,
early spring. You can check out her music. And, Brave, what is your website, just in case people want to go and just read up more about you, or maybe even have a question they can ask you on your website?
Yes, my website is bravewilliamsworld.com. I'm very active on my social media platforms. So even if you hit me on Instagram, it's at @BeMoreBrave, at BMOREBRAVE. Definitely, if you have any questions, whether it's about health and fitness, music. I just released a movie. My first leading film is on Netflix right now. That's called Love.com. So yeah, just check it out, and I would love to hear your feedback and what you guys think.
All right, well, definitely hit the website, go check out love.com. So, on Netflix, because we definitely want to support, anyone that comes to our show, and Brave, is definitely great talking to you. And like I say, don't be a stranger. Like I say, you could come back at any time, or, just want to come and have a conversation. You're definitely welcome. That's to any of our guests. I say that too. Because, we want to make more and more friends. I always tell people, I'd rather friends than any kind of enemy.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time to even just hear my story. Thank you.